Now, the Gauteng Department of Transport says it is still investigating whether the Scholar transport in which 11 learners died following a collision with a bakkie on Wednesday was compliant. The learners and the driver were burnt beyond recognition. Let's cross over to our reporter Chriselda Lewis for the latest developments following this horrific crash. Chriselda?
Well, thank you very much indeed, Leanne. So following that horrific crash, which left 11 school children dead, and of course the driver of that Scholar transportation now begins the painful task of these families beginning the process to start burying their loved ones. You recall, of course, yesterday the Gauteng MEC for Education, Matume Chilwane, was visiting some of the bereaved families in this particular area, paying their condolences. Of course, what we do know at this stage, you would recall how these school children had basically died was after a bakkie had rammed into the Scholar transport in which they were travelling. What we also heard from the Gauteng Transport MEC, who was accompanying the Education MEC in this area yesterday, was that investigations are still underway to establish whether that Scholar transportation was compliant with all the necessary laws that are required before someone is able to transport school learners. And now, here this morning, in this particular area, you would see behind me, some of the families have already started arriving, and this is where the DNA tests will be conducted. You know, of course, that unfortunately those children were burnt beyond recognition after that bakkie had collided with that Scholar transport, and now the families have come here to this community hall in the area to get DNA tests done on them. So, of course, that can be verified against the remains of those children so that the process to begin burying them will then start. I want to chat now to one of the families who's also come here, Charles Fochville, who is the father of one of the victims of this horrific tragedy, and also the father of one of the girls who survived this tragedy. But Charles, thank you very much for speaking to us this morning. This is absolutely devastating. I mean, it's just been a couple of hours. How are you as the family coping?
Thank you very much. We are taking it one day at a time as a family, and we are trying to be strong for our daughter, the one that survived the accident, and also we need to be strong for ourselves also, especially for my wife, the mother of my children. So I don't have any words to express how I feel at the right moment. On a serious note, I don't have any way to express how I feel.
It must be incredibly difficult, Abuduaka, especially because you lost your son and now you have to give support to your daughter who survived this horrific crash. Have you gotten the necessary counseling, at least, from authorities to assist in this situation?
At the present moment, I will say no. But the social worker were at my house. It was a day before yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. But they were just there for just a formal visit. They didn't give us any counseling. Even the daughter, she didn't receive any counseling at the present moment.
But certainly today hits home because you are here to get DNA tests done and to prepare for the burial of your son, together with the many families who are gathered here behind us. How are you as a family trying to maneuver this period? It's just been a couple of hours. You've had some visits as well. Not you as a family per se, but there have been some visits that have been made to some of the families. I'm sure this is the moment that really makes it hit home. Khori, this is actually what has happened.
Yeah, it feels like a dream, ma'am. It feels like a dream. It feels like I'm waking up. But now I can see it's reality. It's reality, because it's one of the difficult moments that I have to face at the present moment, especially when I have to come and identify one of my boy, the one that I loved so much. It's very difficult, but I need to do it. It's the journey that I have to take at the end of the day. As young as I am, I wasn't expecting this. One day I'll be the one to come and identify one of my babies. I don't know what to say, because I feel like my heart has been ripped off. I don't know. That's why I've explained that I don't have any way to explain how I feel at the present moment.
Well, Charles, I'm going to let you go. Thank you very much indeed for speaking to us, and condolences once again to you and your family, and all the families as well that have gathered here. Thank you very much, Charles Bufelo, who is one of the parents who is here to get DNA tests done. Of course, the children had burned beyond recognition following that crash, the bakkie crashing into that scholar transportation. What we also do know is that the Basic Education Minister, Siviwe Gwarube, will also be visiting one of the schools from where these children were being transported to. So now really begins the painful task of these families preparing for the burial of their children.
Chriselda, thanks very much for this report, and such a tough story to have to cover. And the parents, our hearts go out to them. It truly does.